once I found out that he got held back by the Sounders, somebody had mentioned, well, they got a game on January 23rd. I thought it was an official like CONCACAF game. That's just a friendly. It's a friendly in Spain. They don't play for a month. Like he's an integral part of your team. You don't think he can just slot in and figure that out after a week or two? I would be absolutely pissed off if I was Jackson Ragen. All right, so let's pivot now to Jackson Ragen, the center back. This is some other news coming out of camp before we get into the Venezuela game. He has come out and stated that he got called in and his club told him, you cannot go. Now, in fairness to the Seattle Sounders, they said or told U.S. Soccer that they would allow him to go and play in that first game against Venezuela, and then they'd bring him back after that. They're currently in Spain. They got some friendlies set up. They got their first game of the season. Their first official game of the season is February 19th. That still seems like a way out. And I know last year Jackson Ragen went into January camp, got hurt, and I think that slowed down his involvement and impact at the beginning of the season last year for the Sounders. So I get it from Brian Schmetzer, the manager of the Sounders. I get where he's coming from and everybody else that's trying to manage their players. They got a lot of games this year. They got the FIFA Club World Cup included. But this is a player's dream. Like this is Tones. This is why you play. You want to get called into the national team. You want to represent your national team. January camp or whatever camp, you want to get that opportunity and showcase what you're about. What else on an individual level? What else are you working for? It's just, I think it's going to have an impact on Jackson down the line. I think that starts to sow a seed of resentment, right? Hopefully not. Hopefully he's a lot more mature and evolved than I am. But I'd be resentful.
Yeah, I mean he was on this show, right? Didn't he say on this show that was his dream to be with the national team, and that was part of the plan. And I thought he had when we talk about January camp, he was one of the guys we all talked about, you, myself, and Charlie.
We thought he'd be in for sure.
If there was a guy that kind of earned a January camp call up, it was a guy like him, and obviously he gets called up. This is a tough one and I have the same feelings, and I know it's a different competition when like Chicago Fire didn't let Gutierrez and Brady go for the Olympics, and there was someone else in Atlanta United that didn't get to go. It's just slipping my memory right now. But when teams don't let you go,
let him go. That's right.
Yeah, and I think all the time, like, okay, we know that the club is so important, right? That's where you're essentially working 99% of your season or 95% of your national team player, and then you go to the national team. I understand the dynamic, but I don't know. For me, I would take sort of the Jim Curtin stance when he took with the Philadelphia Union. Like, this is an honor. I hate missing these guys. It hurts my club, but this is the national team calling. The Olympics for me, in a lot of ways, is almost worse, Jimmy, because most guys only have one chance to go to the Olympics, right? And guys have oftentimes more chances to go to a national team tournament, Gold Cup, Nations League, World Cup. If we play in Copa America again, so there's multiple tournaments, but the Olympics, pretty much because it's a U23, you more often than not only have one chance to go to that competition. Look, Brian Schmetzer, you respect the guy more than just about anybody in the league, but he's made a decision. He put a marker down. It makes you wonder with Jesus Ferreira going back. I was told at Media Day, Jesus Ferreira was allowed to go because FC Dallas agreed to allow him to go to camp before the trade was made, right? So before the Seattle Sounders made the trade for Ferreira to go from Dallas to Seattle, it had already been agreed upon that he would be in national team camp, right? So he ends up going. Now, unfortunately, he's got this whatever he's got, not fit or he's injured, we don't know, and he goes back here and trains with his team. So it's a weird situation. I would hate it as a player. I would be like you.
I'd be livid.
Yeah, it would just eat the hell out of me all night.
So with all due respect to Brian Schmetzer, I agree with you. I love that guy, and I love the way that he manages his business. And this one, though, I think he got wrong. I think he got this one wrong. And this is a direct quote from Jackson Ragen. He said when he found out that he got called into the men's national team for this year's January camp. This is a quote. It felt like a culmination of my whole career. Do you think that doesn't matter to him? Like all of a sudden, no problem, Schmetz. I'll kick it here in Spain and play in a friendly. Listen, after that, once I found out that he got held back by the Sounders, somebody had mentioned, well, they got a game on January 23rd. I thought it was an official like CONCACAF game. That's just a friendly. It's a friendly in Spain.
Yeah.
They don't play for a month. Like he's an integral part of your team. You don't think he can just slot in and figure that out after a week or two? I would be absolutely pissed off if I was Jackson Ragen. I'm going to give you a story. I don't know if you were there or not, Tones. 2005, Kansas City. Were you still with us?
Yeah, that was my last year, right? Yeah,
last year. Okay.
My last year, yeah.
So I was with the Gold Cup team with the U.S., so I missed, 6 or 7 weeks off and on with the national team, and obviously for that 30-plus days for the Gold Cup. Right after that, we had an Open Cup game, and that was when there was that weird Real Madrid was going to play an MLS All-Star team friendly at the Bernabeu. And Stevie Nicol was the coach of the team, New England Revolution, and he said, we want Jimmy to come. And Bob Gansler, our coach, was like, absolutely not. We Jimmy's been gone for so long. He's one of the leaders of our team. We really count on him, so on and so forth, which of course, that means a great deal. And I love that Bob saw me in that way. However, this was Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. We're talking R9 Ronaldo, Raul, Zidane, Beckham, Roberto Carlos, Iker Casillas, like everybody, the Galacticos. And I was like, how could you? He didn't want me to go. So he said no. And I said, it's an open. I'm just missing an Open Cup. I love the Open Cup. We won it in 2004. We wanted to repeat as champions in 2005. I get all that. But that's Real Madrid. When am I ever going to have another opportunity to do that? So I didn't get to go, and I was fuming. Now, and what ended up happening was Chad Marshall, who they did end up taking or wanted to take as my replacement. He couldn't find his passport. Chad Marshall couldn't find his passport, so they doubled down and like, please, you gotta let us have Jimmy. So I got to go, and it was an incredible experience. I'm so glad I did. I actually wore number 14, which was the number that was slated for Chad. But those are the moments. Like these are special times for you as a player, and Schmetzer, I think of all the coaches, it would be one of the ones that I would think would understand that, right? And like Jimmy Curtin would just like have this. I get it. This kind of sucks for us, but this is what's best for my player. It's going to keep him happy. It's really not that much that he's missing. It's not like a regular season game. It's just some preseason. I don't know, man. I think Schmetzer got this one wrong.
Yeah, that might have been the year 2000. That might have been the year after, because I remember the Real Madrid. I was done playing at that point. You guys got your ass kicked in that one too, didn't you?
You know what? Wait, you know what? Why do we have to bring up old scores, Big Tones? I don't even know why I went to do that.
All right, forget it. Don't bring it up.
Hey,
I was just
in fairness, Tones. We showed up in Chicago on Sunday. We flew to Madrid and woke up there on Monday, went straight to the field to train, and played the Galacticos on Tuesday night. It's not like we could have had 3 weeks of training over there and probably still had it handed to us. But they were really letting us have it in that one.
Luckily,
it was 5-0.
Luckily, you picked that team. What was it, 5-0?
5-0.
Luckily, you picked just Madrid to play on one-day training in a flight.
Exactly.
I mean, who better could you have picked at that time? I mean, I don't know. But
yeah, it was a great experience. So I actually it was a good takeaway for me because I got to see how efficient world-class players move, and they don't waste any energy. And that still informs the way I played after that, and it informs the way that I coach now. Like being really thoughtful about how you move and when can you do it collectively. It just saves everybody energy. Anyway, we can get into a coaching session later.
Did you trade a jersey real quick?
I did. I got David Beckham. Got a grass stain on it. Smells fantastic, by the way, because it's David Beckham. Of course it smells fantastic. He's probably washing his car with my jersey, but, that's fine. I don't care. I have his.